So this is Steve, and I'm here with Paul Helmke. Paul was a former mayor of Fort Wayne, 1988 to 2000.
Correct.
And he's also now, since July of 2006, you've been the president of the Brady Campaign and the Brady Center for
To prevent gun violence.
to prevent gun violence. I didn't have my
Tricky
didn't have
name
my,
sometimes. Yeah.
So Paul, we appreciate your time today.
Oh, been looking forward to talking to you.
Okay. Well, we wanted to talk just a little bit about some of your work with the Brady Campaign and the Brady Center. You left, and I guess let's back up a little bit, because you left Fort Wayne. I think after you left the mayor's office, you went back to law practice for a few years, and then you went to Washington.
Right.
What kind of brought you to Washington with the Brady people?
First of all, I haven't really left Fort Wayne. I still have a house here. I still get back here regularly. My parents, my in-laws, family, friends are all here. This is still home base. I tell people it's more a vacation home sometimes now, and I'm not sure how many people have Fort Wayne as the vacation home, but this is still home for me. But took the job at Brady about 4.5 years ago. I had met Jim and Sarah Brady when I was mayor. Jim Brady had been President Reagan's press secretary, seriously injured on the assassination attempt on President Reagan back in March of 1981. We're coming up on the 30th anniversary of that. He's been in a wheelchair since that time. He was 40 years old when it happened. Now he's 70. But after he was shot, he and his wife, Sarah, started working to make it harder for dangerous people to get guns. The person who shot President Reagan and Jim Brady should have been a prohibited purchaser. He'd been found to be a danger to himself or others because of mental illness. But we relied on the honor system for these people and criminals back then. Said, are you a criminal or are you a felon? And if you said no, you got to buy a gun. So anyways, the Brady's push for the Brady bill, that was an issue that came up early in my term as mayor. And we were having a lot of violence in the city because of crack cocaine coming in the late 80s and early 90s. And I was adding to the police department, working with the faith community, neighborhood policing, community-oriented policing, broken window theory, you name it. And one of the things I learned, though, was how weak the gun laws are. So I endorsed the Brady bill, which requires federally licensed gun dealers to do background checks, and ended up endorsing the assault weapons ban that was being pushed at that time, which included the ban on these high-capacity ammunition magazines like the Tucson shooter used. And but I got to know the Bradys, and they were looking for someone to run their organization in '06, and they contacted me, and I've enjoyed being a lawyer, but I was looking for another challenge, and I took the job. And tell people it's a lot like being mayor. I deal with electeds, I deal with the media, I deal with activists, but I'm doing it out of D.C. instead of out of Fort Wayne, and I'm doing it with just one issue instead of the 20 or 25 issues you deal with on a daily basis as mayor.